4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Racing World, brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your motorsport podcast show in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.
Well, hi there everyone. Welcome to another edition of Racing World. I'm back in New Zealand now doing my 14 days in MIQ. For those of you who perhaps live outside of New Zealand and don't understand about MIQ, when we come back into the country due to COVID, we have to do a 14-day stop in a managed isolation facility. So I'm at day 4 and it's going to be quite a long 14 days. But anyway, we had an IndyCar race just held this morning back on the IMS road course. Another great event really in IndyCar. First things or notable things, 28 cars lined up for the start. That's a massive car count. It shows you that there's a bit of off-season interest coming. The rumours of 27 car fields for next year I think are highly likely. Whether some of the pit lanes can cope with them or not, that's a question yet to be answered. Just one practice session and then straight into qualifying. It didn't work out too well for the Kiwi guys in various bits and pieces, which you can see on our Facebook page. Surprise, of course, was Lingard coming over from F2 and then just suddenly being right in amongst it. So certainly said to everyone that the Rahal Letterman cars are capable of doing the deed when they need to. But then on to the race, and well, it was another great race. This championship now is very much deciding that it's going to go right down to the wire, as always. And I think really when we come out of this weekend, there's probably 5 drivers that are in contention for it. I think anyone further back from that needs a lot of maths to make things work, and we're not going to see that. So anyway, let's look back at the race for a start. Well, the race itself was to provide us with that win that Will Power's been looking for all season, and it makes his 40th win in IndyCar, putting him up there in the all-time list, but of course behind Dixon. But he's now 5th on the list of all-time winners. It was a great race for Will. He certainly needed it mentally as well as anything else. Romain Grosjean in there as well with his second best finish of the season. Both held at IMS, both second places. So, always a good performance from Romain there. He seems to have really adjusted to the place, and we'll hear from him shortly. The other notable things really was that our 3 championship contenders, Palau Award, Alex Palau and Dixon, all had issues during the race, or various forms of issues, and what that's done now with Will winning the race has really tightened up the championship battle. Scott McLaughlin, he was in amongst it. He had 2 things. One, he got airborne here coming through the infield section, and then of course he ran into the back of Renus VK, so very mixed race for poor old Scott McLaughlin. For Alex Palau, yes, he was there for quite some time, and then had some issues with the car. Even on lap 1, he was radioing the team saying that he had issues or felt that the car was down on power. They were checking mapping and all sorts of things, felt that they were losing power, but they were trying to fight, as always, for podium places or points positions. But in the end, it didn't quite work out for him. And that brought out a full course yellow just near the end of the race, which of course was timing for Will Power. It had to be about winning that restart, getting onto the end, and overall, bringing the thing home. The first 67 laps of the race, of course, went caution 3, so there was various tyre and fuel strategies that came out. But what it did do is it brought 11 lead changes amongst 6 drivers as the teams tried to undercut each other with pit stops and that sort of thing. But of course it's about running the race distance, sticking to a strategy that you think is going to pull off, and in the end again, as I said, Will Power coming good and bringing home his first win of the season. And of course there's nothing better than a happy Will Power, and of course he's always one for a good bit of humour at the press conference, so I was lucky enough to join the press conference as always via Zoom, via our friends at IndyCar, and catch up with Will Power, and this is what he had to say.
Where you're just seeing the tents, grow behind you because you have it on your dash, you can see, and just, you just start getting a little nitpicking, like little tiny details right, and slowly pulling away. It's a great feeling. It's right in my zone, right in my wheelhouse when I'm like that. That was another day like that for me, and love it. It's my life. Like, I just love competing, but it's just winning is absolutely what makes me happy. I'm very moody when I haven't won for a while. Just ask my wife.
And then, of course, like anything, there's always a little bit of humour from our man Will.
Yeah, I think, the tyres made the biggest difference. I think the manufacturer's so close right now. You only see a difference when you've got some really slow corners where I think, Honda has a little bit more torque, but as far as just power level, it's very, very close, very close. You don't really see a performance difference in engines at all.
Right. And also, how, I don't want to say it was easy, obviously it wasn't easy, but how easy was it for you to keep like 75? Sorry, mate.
See, it's Alex Rossi. Sorry. He's just, thanks, man.
I'm happy for you. I'm also glad I'm going home. So have fun with that.
Please tell me you didn't have another bad race.
No, man, I finished fourth.
Oh, good. I was like, man, if you had another bad race, I was like, gonna be like, so I broke the spell though, dude. I broke the spell. Yeah, you've got to win now. Anyway, I've got to get back to press conference. Thanks, man. Cheers. Thank you. Bye. See you. Oh, thank you. Sorry, David.
That's brilliant.
I had to answer. Rossi and I have been just having the most horrible time, so I'm glad that I broke the spell.
Whatever you brought to the table, maybe you should take to Rossi next weekend. So, you know.
Yeah. No, I want to win, so
okay.
Screw him.
Well, his second place finish at Indianapolis at the road course event, I think Roman Grosjean's really liking this place. As he said, he has the keys to the place, as you might say.
Yes, I've got the key of the speedway, so, if it's home.
No, literally, you had the key to the speedway.
I do.
Yeah.
I gave them back, but I had the keys, so it's home. And no, I mean, we've had a good car here. The track was quite different from when we came first, so we had to adapt a little bit the setup to make it work. Yesterday, I think we had pole, but I made a small mistake in the turn 8, 9, 10, which is probably where we were the weakest this weekend compared to where we were the strongest in May. So the track did change a little bit with the curbs. So we're gonna analyze that, but definitely the car was good today. We know we are very strong on the brake, and at the restart, I gave it a go on Colton. I've been no racing him for some time, and I know he's super fair on track, and it's one of the driver that you can go and he's going to leave you the place just for a good fight. So I wouldn't do that with anyone, but with Colton, I know it works. And I was hoping to do the same on Will on the last restart, but he went early and just couldn't quite keep up with him. But I'm happy for the team and looking forward to more.
For Colton Herter, a third place finish, probably what we'd be expecting. He'd probably want higher. Had a bit of a mixed bag weekend. He certainly relied on his Andretti teammates helping him out with car setup.
And, this is one of the weekends where I got a lot of help from them, switching over because the car is diabolical in FP1. So we switched over to their setups and found a lot of time with that. It helps a lot for me. But also it's good for them that they're chipping away at it and close to where they want to be.
And Colton's teammate Alexander Rossi coming in fourth, so it was a bit of a good sweep for the Andretti team finally.
From 10th in this field, it's tough to do a whole lot of anything. So the guys did a great job in pit lane. The car was good. I think fourth was the best we could do today, but ultimately we went forward when we needed to in the critical moments of the race, and the AutoNation guys did an awesome job. I mean, it's the best result of the year, so I guess there's some consolation in that.
And then for a young driver that's really in this championship hunt, and I kind of wouldn't rule him out as the wild card, really, and that's Palau Award. We've got the Ganassi cars there, but I just think that Patau's probably in a position to strike. He's moved back to second in the championship. Not overly a good race, finishing fifth for him, but again, the best of the others in terms of the points haul.
Started on pole, ended fifth. I consider us lucky today. We gained a lot of ground in the championship. We're sitting second now, 21 points behind Palau. We cut more than 50% of the length that we were behind him coming into the weekend, so that's definitely a positive for us. But saying that we're lucky, I think we were in the fight with him. He was unfortunate and lost his engine, and that allowed us to truly get a big jump on him on the championship. But we didn't quite have the pace to win, so we need to work harder. I think the one next weekend is going to be good for us, and we're ready. 4 more races.
Then an 8th place for Joseph Newgarden. Now this guy is just inside that top 5 in terms of the points championship, and I still think that he's in the game. Joseph's been there before. As we've said before, it's been a Dixon Newgarden type championship scenario for the last few years. Newgarden with these races remaining, I think he's a serious threat. And even though these other guys have had good form early on, you got to get to the end. So great weekend for Joseph Newgarden.
All right, everyone, we finished 8th today. Not what we were dreaming of, but a pretty good result having to start 20th. I had to avoid some chaos in the beginning. I thought I was going to get sideswiped by 2 or 3 cars and just tried to save our race car from the beginning of the race, and that put us back a little bit, just trying to avoid people. So we got behind and then just kept marching forward and finally got in the top 10 and ended up finishing 8th. So pretty good day for us. Points-wise, we definitely jumped forward a little bit. So it's a fun race with Expel and Team Chevy. We could have started up higher. I think we had more potential, but a day where you finish 8th when starting 20th, I think it was pretty good for us. So pretty happy. So see you guys next time.
And then to Dixon, down in 17th. Not a good weekend by him, certainly not something that you'd expect from the Iceman, but this is where the Ganassi team gets stronger. They have the ability to bounce back from this sort of thing. A lot of this was the result of the spin during qualifying, but you've got to take that on the chin and move on, and Dixon is a person that can do that. He's done it time and time again. He knows how to play this game, and even though this was tough, there's races on the table yet, and you watch, he'll be there, and you will not rule him out.
Just a horrible weekend, to be honest. Mistake in qualifying, and that affected obviously our starting position with the penalty. And then we actually made good progress. I think we got up to 12th or 13th from 26th. I think we would have been maybe in the top 10 had we had reds for the last stint, but obviously when I spun as well, ruined those tyres, and I didn't have those tyres for the race. We're the only ones, I think me and Pagino at the end there, that didn't have red tyres. So frustrating weekend, frustrating day. We need someone who roll our way this.
Then to his Ganassi teammate, Jimmy Johnson, 19th place out of the 28 car starters. So I think that was a pretty good performance for Jimmy. He showed moments of brilliance, actually. And it's been a hard season for him, coming from a big, heavy, probably not overly well handling NASCAR to, the more nimble IndyCar. The season's coming on. This is the first time that he's been to a track that he's revisited as such, as many of the drivers like Grosjean and Scott McLaughlin. But for Jimmy, I think he should be pretty proud with a 19th place finish.
This weekend has just been a weekend full of more confidence and more understanding of the car. Certainly more understanding of the track since I've raced here before and I've also tested. And certainly my ceiling from the spring race was my floor, and I'm able to build on that. I qualified it over a second faster than what I did in the spring in much hotter conditions. On top of that, had some racecraft going on. I had to work some fuel numbers and wasn't in the race that I wanted to be in mid-race. But with the cautions at the end, we were able to go back to full power, make a couple passes, work my way up into the high teens, and just have an awesome day in this car on Honda. Good fun. Can't wait to get to Portland and do it all again.
And then onwards to our 2021 Indy 500 champion, 4-time winner Elio Castroneves, finishing 21st today. Not really the result that I would have expected from him. The Shank Racing team know how to set up a car here at IMS on the road course. Jack Harvey proves that. Elio just not really having everything go his way. It again shows how tough this series is when you've got calibers of drivers like Dixon and Castroneves back down this end of the field, and it shows you just cannot make any single mistakes. But for Elio, it's great. We're going to have him in the series again full-time next year, and I think that's fantastic. The big news, of course, will be who his teammate becomes. There seems to be a hot tip now that maybe it could end up being Simon Pagenaud, so just watch that space. Pagenaud's certainly a friend of Honda, and he'd be coming from the Chevy-run Penske team, so let's put $5 on the fact that Pagenaud might end up alongside Elio at Shank Racing next year. But anyway, Elio, 21st.
Yeah, we started conservative, obviously, and kept it going. MSR team did a great job. Sirius XM automation was, we were improving. Unfortunately, we're on the 20th position most of the time. However, we probably would make a lot of position in the end, but we got caught in one of the spinning of the 21. I had to avoid it and lost all the positions. But in the end, another learning process, and we just got to keep it going. But looking forward to Portland.
Then onwards to our 27th place finisher, Alex Palau. Still our championship leader, but really tough weekend for him. Now, this is, again, as I said earlier on, this is where the mental game's going to come into it. And someone like Dixon has been there, didn't have a good weekend this weekend and can bounce back from it. So this is going to test Alex. But anyway, 27th place, not what you'd really want. But this is what Alex had to say straight after the race.
Hey guys, just down here at the race in Indy road course. Unfortunately, we had a mechanical issue. We still don't know what happened, but yeah, we were running really good. P4 started on P6. I think we had really good strategy and really good pace. We were catching the guys in front for the podium. So yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't fight today, but it's just a bump on the road, and we'll keep on fighting.
So, of course, what that's done to the championship now with Will finishing first today is it's just spread the gaps between first and fifth, more importantly, to become quite tight. So Alex Palau now on 415 points. Palau moves back up to second now on 394. Dixon at 381, so he's dropped a slot. Newgarden inherited a few points today, so he's at 360. Marcus Ericsson, Dixon's teammate, in there at 353. Graham Rahal at 312. Colton Herter at 311. I see that as probably the cut-off line. After that, Pagenaud at 295, Willpower at 278, and Rinus VK at 267. Those guys are mathematically there, but I think the odds start to get harder for them now. But those first, it's 6, are definitely in the championship game, and it only takes you one race and you're out of it as well. So bring on those last races. Next race, of course, is on the Oval at St. Louis. Be a fantastic race, a night race, last of the Oval races for the year, so we could see all sorts of things happen there. Well, that wraps up another NTT IndyCar Series round. There's just those races remaining now, which is St. Louis, then to Portland, then down to Laguna, and then down to Long Beach on the street course for the final race of the year. So 4 to go now. Anyone's championship, it really is. It will certainly go to the wire. Again, it just is just massive amounts of things about how strong IndyCar is. In terms of those silly season rumours, well, Alex Albon was seen sitting in some cars over the weekend at IMS, so he's certainly interested. There's no doubt about that. I think there's going to be quite a few things play out. The key to the puzzle right now is, does Hunter Ray stay at Andretti's? I don't think he's going to. Does Grosjean go there? Yes, I think probably. Does Hinchcliffe stay at Andretti's? 50-50 odds on that one. He's racing for his career, that's for sure. Who goes in place of him? Anyone's guess. As to the rest of the scenarios, as we said in the show a few weeks ago, and the link's here for that if you want to revisit that, I just think that there's so many driver movements coming for season 2022. And when you see the fact that we had 28 cars here today and the talk of fields of 27 on a full-time basis, it says the series is very healthy. There's already rumour of an over 40 car count for the Indy 500 next May. So let's get rid of this COVID thing so we can all get back to the racing and really enjoy it, because sitting in a hotel room doing MIQ, it ain't anywhere near as much fun as being at a racetrack. But once again, I thank you all very much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. Love the fact that you're supporting Racing World. If you don't, then please like, share and subscribe the show. It makes just that massive amount of difference. We're getting it out there. I love doing this for you. I keep finding as much information as I can for you on a regular basis. It's good to be home in New Zealand. We just got to get out of this hotel room now into my real home. But until then, whatever you do, and I can definitely vouch for this, stay safe out there. COVID is a nasty, nasty beast, that's for sure. And so be very, very safe. Take care, and we'll catch you again soon on Racing World.